You can see here the vol was around 45, both implied and realized on a 1 week basis. We had that spike in realized, that's the stair step higher, up to around 53.5 on Bitcoin. Implied did spike earlier in the week up to 55, has kind of drifted back down to around 47. So week on week, only up a couple of points on the weeklies, giving us negative carry there, where, that has got a bit of memory of the bigger moves early last week, so that is going to drop back down and be more in line. If we were still winging around like crazy, you would expect implieds to have been a bit higher there, but as usual, implieds kind of sold off into the weekend, had a little bounce out of it, which is pretty typical kind of seasonality on a weekly basis that we are seeing. It does seem like the short gamma operators do tend to kind of press it into the weekend. Okay, and then Ethereum, similar story. We got a big move up from sort of mid 40s realized all the way up to 70. Implied did spike, but has kind of been flatlining a bit since then. But it was a better move than Bitcoin in terms of realizing. So ETH vol picking up a bit more than Bitcoin. Here you can see a pretty steep contango term structure still. But this is what I mean about the kind of premium coming in for the 13th. So there's a bit of a staircase here where this week is very low. It steps up to next week that captures the debate. Then it's kind of flat and then it jumps again for the actual election in November. So a bit of a staircase term structure that we have in both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Still about a 10-15% move being priced for the election. I think it's going to settle at that level. I don't really see it. That forward vols seems to be priced at 80, and I don't think that's going to change. But the debate, I would argue that the debate is probably going to be quite choppy. So whilst we might not get a 10% close on close type move, we might get some quite wild swings, like 3 to 5% up and down during the debate or around the debate. I'd expect the price action to be quite similar to what we saw on the Trump speech in Nashville. I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of choppiness. So the gamma players might actually, if you're an active gamma trader, you might actually have some fun with that if you want to own that vol, because it doesn't look like it's crazy expensive at these levels. Okay, in terms of the path of vol and skew, you can see here we had a steep contango going in last week, had the spike in the front end, drifted back into the weekend. These are the 1 week expiry on the red. Rest of the curve is kind of doing not a lot. And then here we have got a little bit of a bounce in the front end, sort of in the last sort of day or two. Skew wise, skew did get above 10 vols for puts in the weeklies. So that was, pretty aggressive as some hedging came in. That has drifted all the way back to only a couple of vols there in the front end. About 1.5 vols for the 25 delta risky there, which you can see. Vol wise, obviously looking at small up in the back and up about 2 to 3 points in the front on Bitcoin. The path for Ethereum, similar sort of story as you can see between the two charts. Getting a little bit more extreme. The put skew was touching around 15. It's settled to about 3 vols in the front for puts right now. And then the back end is pretty similar to Bitcoin, sitting around 4.5 in the back. 3 in March, 4.5 in June next year. Skew wise, not massive moves in skew, to be honest. But we do have, like I say, a steeper put skew in Ethereum, which you can see here on the relative skew chart, where they were both sitting pretty similar at the start of last week, and now the red line Ethereum is kind of holding up a bit higher than Bitcoin for put skew, just because people thinking Ethereum's chart looks a bit more ugly and they would rather have the protection there. And there's probably a bit less demand for upside there as well, because it doesn't have the kind of election kicker necessarily, or the Trump kicker, as it were. Okay. In terms of the spread for the vol, you can see the green line is kind of where we are now. Obviously these things are fluid, moving around intraday, but like off the last snapshot, we have got a shift higher. So 1 week ago we were kind of a bit lower, around sort of 8 or 9 vols. We have jumped up. Front end's about 11 now for Ethereum over, and it goes down to around 9 in the back still. That's kind of where we are. Mentioned the skew, the spot spreads kind of testing that low near 0.04 appears to be holding for now, but obviously if crypto has another downdraft, that level could get taken out as well. Hi everyone, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Remember, this is just a little taster of what we do at Options Insight.
To get access to all our research, including my in-depth vol market insights, flows and positioning report, and my portfolio trades, and a whole lot more, you can sign up for a free 1-month trial at options-insight.com. I'll see you soon.